Hi guys, it's Laura. I'm here today with a quick public service announcement. I've been hearing a lot about when people stay in hotels and being like harassed or like somebody tries to break into your room. And I've heard about this in Florida, Texas, Alabama, and all those states are right around by where I live. I live in Georgia. So if you've been following me, you know that if you've been listening to my story, you know that I've been homeless since January. I left my job in August of last year. So I've really just been staying in and out of a lot of hotels, like mostly extended stay hotels, I think they call them. So the first lodge, I think it was, I stayed in, I kept having a problem with the manager. So after a couple of weeks, I was like, this isn't, working. And some of it was on my behalf because I didn't understand like how it worked with checkout times, and you couldn't check back in before a certain time and stuff like that. So in the first hotel I was in, when I started having a problem with the lady, I left because, I just felt like uneasy about staying there. And a couple of weeks later, when I was in another hotel, I had a vision that someone tried to enter my hotel room, not break in, but actually come in with a key, which means for that to happen, they would have to have got a key from, a staff member. So after I saw the vision of somebody entering into my room, I saw the next part of the vision was a funeral. And it had several caskets, which, was telling me that the outcome, if I would have stayed, would have probably been not only would they have tried to unalive me, but, my children as well, because my sons were staying with me as well. So in this last hotel I was in, I stayed there the first time for like 3 weeks, and then again for another 2 weeks. So when I went there the third time, he looked at me and asked me my name, and he was like, oh yeah, I remember. So instead of giving me the same room that he had been giving me, which he said that's like how they do it, they try to keep guests in the same room. So he gives me a different room. The first thing I notice about the room is the latch on the door. So the lock, on one side it has the latch that you flip over, and the other side has the part that hooks onto there. So the latch part that you flip over was on there, but what it was supposed to hook onto wasn't. So I didn't really stress about that because, as hotel doors go, once you close the door, it's locked, and it has that secondary lock on the bottom. So what I noticed in this particular room, we were in the room, my son went to the store. So I went to go catch him to give him the card key, but he had already, gotten far. So I just, closed the door back and I sat down. So a few minutes later, when he comes back from the store, he just walks into the room. And I look and I see the card key still there. So I asked him if he got another key from the office. And he said, no, the door was open. And I had to go check the door. And when I closed it, it sounded like the door closed. But you actually had to push on the door to make it catch into the lock. But when you closed it, it sounded like the door catches and the door was locked. So I, alerted my boys, and I told them, make sure, when you come in and out the room, to close the door like all the way and make sure you use that secondary lock. So later on that night, someone tries to push open the door. And it was like they knew that door was just going to pop open. So I started getting uneasy about that. And I had to leave. I left. I stayed like one more night, and then I left. Because when I feel that uncertainty, or I feel uncomfortable, I know it's time for me to go. And when you hear other people talking about it, especially single women being RAPD'd in their room and stuff like that, and it's really going on, and it's something that we all have to look out for, because when you're in a situation like I am, where you're basically on your walk with God, you're trying to follow your path, there's somebody always in the way trying to provoke you or trying to do something to you. And plus, like, I know that I have plenty of ops against me, plenty of enemies who want to see me not only fall, but would rather see me gone from this earth than to see me walking around and be okay and happy. So this is just a public service announcement to let you guys know that these things are going on. People aren't making it up, and it's just something to watch out for. I hope this helps somebody. Y'all have a great day. Thanks.